So, how does Star Wars tie into the storyline? Yes, in case you did not know, next season is a Star Wars season, and according to leaks, the Star Wars season will be tied into the storyline despite being quite a short season of only 35 days. So how do we go from Outlaws to Star Wars? Well, I have a theory as to how this can happen, so sit back, relax, and let's dive in. After Fletcher Kate is dealt with, which is probably in part 5 the Baron quest, we find a way to enter the Spirit Realm in part 6 of the story quest, and part 6 is supposed to be like a build up to the next season. So what if in part 6 we supposedly find a way to enter the Spirit Realm and the Dark Presence, we'll call him Harold for short, decides to use the Zero Shot to lure the Empire to reality 783. Reason why I say this is because Harold is using the 0-point shot for something but isn't done yet, so he uses the shot to lure the Empire so that Hope's crew is kept busy until he is done. Now you're probably wondering, how would we even learn to breach into the Spirit Realm and why in part 6? Well, let me tell you, it's thanks to one guy, one mask maker, Daigo. Thanks to voice lines, we found out that Daigo is working for Fletcher Kane. Kane gets power and Daigo gets coal. Well, gets gold. But you're probably wondering, what does Daigo need with gold? I theorize that he's going to upgrade his mask making machine using gold, and in exchange of gold he makes masks for Fletcher Kane. And in part 5 we might even see Daigo betray Kane because Kane is a greedy wolf and he's going to want more power, so Daigo would probably have a mask of power much stronger than the ones he provided Kane, and would most likely put an end to Kane. I also theorize that in part 6, Hope's crew tries to reason with Daigo. Unfortunately, Daigo isn't to be reasoned with, so we'll have no choice but to fight him, and this backs up this leak right here. At the end of the battle, Daigo manages to cross the Spirit Realm without the crew. However, since Midas has a copy of Daigo's mask making book, we get to making masks. Harold, seeing that there is no more distractions on Oninoshima, decides to lure the Empire to reality 783, giving Hope's crew yet another headache to deal with. Now you're probably wondering, why didn't Harold do anything to stop Daigo from crossing? And that's because Harold wants Daigo. If you talk to Jade after the mini event last season, she mentions how Harold wanted everyone in her family, especially Daigo, so it makes sense that Harold would not want to stop Daigo from crossing the Spirit Realm. But why stop at Daigo? Why not get everyone else too? Well, like I said earlier, Harold does not want Hope's crew interfering with his plan, and since Jade and Kendo are in Hope's crew, Harold does not want to take any risks, so he decides to go for Daigo. Also, since Daigo has a lot of knowledge about the masks, and I've actually talked about this in my Midas video. Go give that a watch if you haven't already. But in that video, I talked about how Harold is going to possess Daigo and use his knowledge to create a mask that will do all of Oninoshima. Now, obviously, something like this would take time, hence why Harold is going to lure the Empire here to try to keep Hope's crew at bay. Now, if you did enjoy this video, consider liking and subscribing. And without further ado, peace.